So this is like the first episode or first video of what I'm starting to do on my channel called the Everything One Piece. So in these type of videos, I'm just going to be going over various One Piece topics that I just feel like talking about. So I first want to talk about how the One Piece anime is taking a 6 month hiatus. So, like, for all the One Piece anime only watchers, like, I used to be one of you. So basically, I started reading the One Piece manga back at the start of the Wano arc in the manga. I only really started reading the manga for the Wano arc because basically, I was waiting like 10 years for this one arc. So there was no way, like, I was like going to wait until like the anime caught up to the manga to start like looking at the Wano arc, man. Because like the Wano arc, I've been anticipating like looking at that arc ever since Punk Hazard when Luffy teamed up with Trafalgar Law to basically take down Kaido, one of the four emperors of the sea. So like ever since that arc started or when he first met Law, like I was like, man, I can't wait to freaking watch or read the Wano arc, man. So I was like, I've been waiting a while, so I just couldn't wait no more, man. So I just started. So my point is like, so if you're like an anime only watcher, like this is a good time to like catch up or start reading the manga. Like trust me, man, it's not something that you will regret. Like the manga is likes that. It's something that comes out like weekly most of the time without but the only time it doesn't come out weekly is during the break week or some type of celebration or stuff going on. Other than that, like it's lit. Like the manga is lit. Like reading the Wano manga, the reading the manga during the Wano arc, man, one of the best decisions I ever made. So like all I'm trying to say is during this anime hiatus, man, hey, you come on and read the manga, man. Like, come on. Another topic that I wanted to talk about was what to expect from the Elbaf arc. So like this is what I expect from the Elbaf arc. So basically, during Egghead, we found out that the legend or fable of Nika was heard from the myth of Elbaf. So like, what I expect from this arc is one of the main things I expect is that basically we get more lore and information on Sun God Nika. Because during the Egghead arc, we got like more insight into Joy Boy. And I really didn't even expect no more insight of Joy Boy until they got to Lab Tale. We figured out the ancient history and stuff like that. Like I didn't expect to like learn things like Joy Boy was the first pirate, what he wanted with from the ancient weapons, like some of a little bit insight into the ancient war, how the world government was called the 20 allied nations at the time. And like even like I didn't even expect to see a silhouette of this man until like Laugh Tale. So like all the stuff that we got during the Egghead art from Joy Boy, man, I'm sort of like expecting the same thing, if not a little bit more from the Elbaf art. So like what I'm expecting is that basically go all over Sun God Nika, like sort of how they went over Joy Boy in the Egghead arc or even more. They might talk about him a little more. Cause like during the Wano arc, when we first got to like know who Nika was, like when who was talking about him when he was fighting Jinbei, like he showed a silhouette of Sun God Nika. He had two weapons, and he looked like Goofy running around like Luffy. Like the silhouette looked sort of like Luffy, like if he was like back in the day. But like ever since we heard about Joy Boy, I used to think that Joy Boy and Nika were like the same person. But like during Egghead, we learned that they're not the same person. Like we learned from Vegapunk that Joy Boy was a pirate, the first pirate who had the power of Sun God Nika. So like when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, so Joy Boy and Nika are two different people. So during the Elbaf arc, I expect to learn more about Nika. Another thing that I expect to learn during the Elbaf arc or to find out during the Elbaf arc is Luffy like figuring out that he has the God fruit, the Sun God Nika fruit, and stuff like that. I wonder how he's gonna react. Like some people are trying to say that he's not gonna care and stuff like that. I feel as though when he found out when Luffy found out at the end of Wano that he was one of the four Yako now, he was really surprised. But I expect for him to give a surprise reaction. Like, oh, you got the sun god fruit. Like, he's been calling it the gum gum fruit the whole time. So I expect Luffy's reaction. I expect a reaction from Luffy to figure out that he is the sun god, or at least he has the sun god fruit. Whether he cares or not is another story. I think he'll care. He'll be surprised about it, man. He'll like, oh, I got a sun god fruit. Like, I feel as though that's how Luffy will react. But like during the Elbap arc, I expect for Luffy to learn that he actually has the Nika fruit, because like everybody on the crew already knows he has the fruit, except for like Luffy himself and stuff like that. Another thing that I want to, or that I expect from the Elbap arc, is basically the giants. Like, I feel as though like Dory and Broggy are one of the only few giants that actually know, unless in their crew, are one of the few people that know that Luffy's actually the sun god. Because basically at the beginning of the arc, we got some giant posing as the sun god, where we all know that Luffy is the sun god. And I wonder how the giant nation as a whole is going to react to like someone like Luffy, who has a devil fruit named after a god that comes from their fables, like stories, their myth, and stuff like that. So like during the Elbap arc, I expect to get a reaction from the giant nation as a whole. I wonder after that they're gonna be like, oh, we all part of Grand Fleet now, and stuff like that. And then another thing that I expect from the Elbap arc is like, how is the Revolutionary Army going to proceed based on everything that happened after A-Kane? Well, are we gonna learn the reactions? How did they move on from one of the elders star getting killed right in front of them and stuff like that? So this is basically my first episode of Everything One Piece, where I just talk about a variety of One Piece topics all in the same like context and video. So like this is it for now, man. But don't forget, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe. Well, anyway, Fearless Joy out. Till deuces till next time.